Welcome to Duke Devil 95. My name's Brad Burnett. Last weekend, I happened to see The Little Mermaid, and well, it left didn't leave a good feeling. Didn't leave a good taste in my mouth after seeing it.
Will you just listen, Sebastian? I got that scuttlebutt.
So I really needed something to cleanse my palate. Fortunately, this week, new Spider-Man movie came out. Now, Spider-Man? Which Spider-Man are we talking about?
Who am I? I'm Spider-Man.
I'm Peter Parker.
That's not possible.
I am Spider-Man.
I mean, I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, sir.
Well, we're talking about the Miles Morales version of Spider-Man, and I kind of got some opinions about race swapping and gender swapping, classic characters. Well, let me state this overall. First off, I enjoyed the first Spider-Verse movie. I thought it was well done. I thought the animation was interesting, and it was a good story. This one, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I enjoyed this movie. There's a lot to like about this movie. There's also some stuff I did not like. First off, the overall story. I thought it was enjoyable. Um, it's I think multiverse is being done a little too much, but the overall story was good. The idea of Miles facing the decision of whether or not he's going to go along with canon. Interesting use of the phrase canon being a certain point in time, fixed point in time, going back to Doctor Who style unchangeable event. How he's going to deal with that, and how there's this whole spider verse of people dedicated to making certain timelines or reality stays a certain way. This was a much better version of the multiverse, I think, than we saw than Doctor Strange Mom, which was a mess. Characters, I thought overall the characters were good. Uh, Again, not a big fan of the race swap, gender swap. I'll get into that and some other issues. But Miles Morales as a character is not a bad character. I do think he's overdone in the comics. I do think he's trying to be pushed more in an unnatural fashion than rather just the character that he is. When he first appeared in the Ultimate Verse, it was a good character. It was interesting the way he took over for Spider-Man, Peter Parker, the true Spider-Man, and developed his own character. It was unique. It wasn't really mimicking Peter Parker so much. So I enjoy the character, and I enjoyed the way the character is portrayed in the movie. Spider-Gwen, again, another character I don't care for in the comics. I think it's just expanding, one character beyond what they need to be. But the characterization in this movie was good. Um, yeah, I like that interaction between her and Miles. Some other stuff I want to get into on that, though. Into the dislikes. Spider-Man 2099 rather. Miguel O'Hara, played by Oscar Isaac. Really good character. I really thought from the videos he was going to end up being the bad guy. In a way, he is. He's more of an antagonist than a villain. And his motivation is interesting. That's the other good thing. I thought the story actually developed everyone's motivation pretty well. You really got to understand which character was doing what for what reason. So in that instance, I think that was well put together. Same thing with the spy, who first appeared as sort of a silly villain, but really then came to be, oh yeah, he's a real bad guy. He's doing some stuff that's really bad. Uh, the way they developed, again, it was a good development. I liked that. Another portion of the story that I liked was Miles's family. A lot of times in these movies, we don't get a good family dynamic. Uh, this was good. I liked the way that both mom and dad were involved in Miles's life, how they really were encouraging and yet still firm parents parenting. We don't seem to see that as much as we should in some of these movies. So I like that. The other thing that I really liked, and this goes back to just being a Spider-Man fan, nerd, whatever, was seeing all the Spider-Man variants. First off, again, I say it again. There's one Spider-Man. His name is Peter Parker. He was bitten by a radioactive spider, developed spider powers, learned about with great power comes great responsibility after his uncle was killed by a robber. That's the classic Spider-Man story. Everything else after that is just a variation from it. But that doesn't mean you still can have fun with some of those variations as long as you pay respect and proper homage to the original character. So I went back and checked because there's a ton of random shoutouts just random appearances on screen. And when it comes out on download, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, you're going to be able to pause it and go through and see all these. But I had to go to Screen Rant. But it does show a whole bunch of them. Like, we got Spider-Man 2099. We got Spider-Man from Earth 616. I think it's called B here, not really the comics, but it's supposed to be the comic 616. We had Mayday Parker. That's the Spider Baby, Spider-Man's baby girl. We had Spider-Punk, Indian Spider-Man, Spider-Man India. What is it got? I'm mispronouncing that. Prabhakar, the Indian Spider-Man. We had, Black Suit Spider-Man show up. We had Spider-Bite show up. Weird character. The PlayStation Spider-Man costume guy showed up. We had an Armored Spider-Man. We had Superior Spider-Man, Iron Spider-Man. There was even Bagman Spider-Man. Do you remember Bagman Spider-Man? Geez, that's a callback. There was a Spider Cat. Spider Cat showed up. There's a Spider Rex. I didn't know there was a Spider Rex, but apparently there's a Spider Rex. Tons of things. So, it's fun to go and see that. Oh, Ben Riley. Forgot about Ben Riley. Scarlet Spider. Angsty Ben Riley. That kind of makes sense. So, that was fun. That I enjoyed as a Spider-Man fan. So overall, I did like the movie. I think it's an enjoyable movie, and it's a good follow-up to the first one. I still think the first one is the superior movie because this is, again, some things I didn't like. Like I say, overall, I like the story, but I think it was a bit of a mess in the sense this was too long of a movie. This was well over 2 hours, and again, this is something we're seeing a lot in movies. No one is governing themselves. It's almost as if there's no story editors to pick up the script and go, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Maybe we could cut this stuff out here. Certainly, there's a lot of stuff to be cut out here. Like I said, I like the family dynamic, but maybe they spent too much time on Miles's, interaction with his mom and dad. You could have got away with it with one scene and done it well in a short, 5 or 6 minute section, and just maintain, a light sprinkling of a theme throughout. Spider-Gwen. First 20 minutes of the movie were Spider-Gwen. We didn't even see Miles for 20 minutes, basically. I mean, you saw him kind of appearing, but he really wasn't the character. So, that's 20 minutes of the movie they could have just nixed in a way or made a 5-minute promo. Just say, this is who Spider-Gwen is. So, yeah, the length of the movie is problematic. And again, that goes to who the audience is. When I was talking about The Little Mermaid being over 2 hours, I don't know that young kids are going to sit for that type of movie. This is geared towards probably a more older audience, definitely kids, but definitely an older kid audience, maybe 10, 11-year-olds. Still, 2+ hours throwing trailers and everything. You're looking at spending 2.5 to 3 hours at a theater. I don't know if kids are going to sit there that long. It's a good show. It can definitely keep them engaged, but there's definitely going to be some, shuffling around in the seats by the kids before it even comes to the end. Another thing that I did not like, and again, this kind of goes back to what they did in the first movie. Peter Parker, which they call Peter B. Parker. In the first movie, he was sort of a downtrodden Spider-Man. Had all the bad Parker luck came to fruition. He got divorced. He felt down on his luck. He fell out of shape. Just sad sack. At the end of the original Spider-Verse movie, the first one, he sort of got his groove back. He felt better about himself, and he decided to turn his life around. So he did turn his life around because now he's, back with Mary Jane in this movie. They have a baby together, little May Parker. But he's still kind of emasculated. To me, Peter Parker should always be the preeminent Spider-Man, the model, the icon, what everyone strives to be. Yeah, he's got some bad luck. Yeah, he makes mistakes. But in the end, Spider-Man always comes out on top, and he always does the right thing because he's learned the proper lesson. With great power comes great responsibility, and he carries that throughout his entire life. Here, he's just kind of goofy, kind of incompetent. You don't get the sense that he's really a good Spider-Man. And he's kind of a really bad dad. I mean, why are you going into any fight with a baby in your baby Bjorn? What are you doing? I don't care if she's got spider powers. He's a little baby. You leave the baby at home with Mary Jane. Certainly Mary Jane's there. Just leave the baby. As soon as crap starts happening, baby got to go home. No problem. That's fine. But fighting with the baby, that's ridiculous. Similarly, why are you fighting when you're pregnant? Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. Okay, now here's a race swap that makes no sense to me. I don't know why it's done. Obviously, this is how we see Jessica Drew in this movie. She's an African American woman uh, with a very large afro and goggles and pregnant. Now, I know Spider Woman in the comic became pregnant, but that Jessica Drew is not this Jessica Drew in the movie. This Jessica Drew was race swapped for some reason for no logical purpose, as far as I can tell, other than maybe to score virtue points. To me, Spider Woman is Jessica Drew. This is Spider Woman. Okay, this is Spider Woman. This is Spider Woman I want to see. Yeah, because why? Because I'm a dude. Okay, let's be serious. I mean, this is a Spider Woman that was in the Avengers. This was the original Spider Woman. This to me is what Spider Woman looks like. I just, I don't know why they did it. Doesn't make any sense to me. The last thing that kind of bothered me was the art. And I know, the animation. I really enjoyed the animation in the first movie. It was kind of unique. It's not really what we've seen, but I'm more of a classic animation guy. Uh, I did enjoy in the first one. In this one, I think they went over the top, at least for my taste. I know what they were trying to do, intermix the different styles and everything, seeing, the different characters and the style of what the art was. But it became, in a way, overwhelming to the senses. I truly believe that if anyone has any conditions which be affected by bright lights, flashes, whatever, don't go see this. This will cause serious problems, I think. I mean, you see a lot of movies or TV shows that say, bright lights, flashes, seizure warnings, all that stuff. Maybe this this is it's kind of off-putting sometimes. It's just too much at once. It's sensory overload, and I think in a way, it kind of took me out of the movie sometimes. So especially when you have a long movie where you're trying to stay engaged, and then all this randomness left and right. So for me, that was not as much fun. But like I say, overall, it's a good movie. It's enjoyable. I'm interested to see what the conclusion is when the trilogy, I guess, ends next year. But the last thing I want to talk about, of course, is how did it do over the weekend? Well, let's go to the numbers. Always a great place to look. And it really did pretty well. $120 million. Dollars. Good job. And when you look at Spider-Man Across the Universe, here we go. Across the Spider-Verse, sorry. 120 million, 88 million international for an overall weekend box office of $208 million. How does that compare to the first one? Well, the domestic box office was 190 with 185 international for total weekend. I'm sorry, worldwide box office of 375. So this movie's already performing well past the original, which is to be expected considering how well the original was received when it first came out, and then how well it did on the home market with DVDs and downloads. But also, what is going on this weekend? Well, we can't ignore our favorite little fish that's treading water. We have a $40 million take. And last week, I expected the drop off to be 60 to 70%, and the drop off was 58%.
Missed it by that much.
Yeah, I got close. I got close. Give me that. But how's Little Mermaid doing overall? Well, again, like I say, I think I want to watch this because there was a lot of talk about what was going on with the overseas market, certain ist words, and not the terrorist word, the other ist words. Of course, we can remember that Spider-Man Across the Universe's main character is also a darker skinned, a young African American, actually African American Puerto Rican character. So I don't know that that logic holds as well, but let's see how we did overall. So now our domestic take is 186. The international box office was 140. Worldwide, we're looking at 326. So it appears to be doing okay, actually. It's, if you look at the chart, it's still in that zone. So it looks like it has the ability to maybe, if not make money, at least break even. It was looking dicey for a bit. I think in the end, that international box office is really going to tell the tape, be the tail of the tape rather. And again, it's a lot of similarities when you look at Aladdin. Uh, their initial domestic weekend, 95 for the Little Mermaid, 91. It's doing worldwide box office. Aladdin did a billion. I just don't know that they're going to get there. It's going to be tough for the Little Mermaid, I still think. Um, yeah, but Spider-Verse, going to do good. It's going to make some money off it. And you know what? It's nice to have a movie that's enjoyable. Just maybe cut it down a little bit. Be better. Questions, comments, witticisms down below. Click like, click subscribe, click share. I'll see you later.